Hey everybody, and welcome to, apparently this our new show is called Unsealed.
There you go.
Life Beyond the Bolts.
Yep. Doug Jones won the whole little t-shirt thing.
Yeah, you know, I do need to get him set up with his whole t-shirt deal. I totally spaced it, so I did bad. I will make a note for myself for right now, for sure. Yeah, so how are you doing this week, Steve?
Glorious.
Glorious? You want to talk to us a little bit about why we didn't do a show on Easter last Sunday?
Because I was in a pissy freaking mood. Because it was raining and horrible weather, and I also had really bad allergies.
Yeah, and it was Easter, of course, and we didn't get to visit
Well, it
our
was Easter
families,
too, yeah.
and you were, like, pissed about that.
Yeah, it was, like, kind of lame.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was just a lame Sunday.
I would agree. So how's your week been?
Good. Yeah, I mean, just cruising along, trying to outlive the coronavirus.
Coronavirus! Yeah, we are not the source of coronavirus here.
No.
Yeah, I've been socially distanced way more than 6 feet. You know, just...
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Are you ready to open up the country again?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm ready to open up, at least open up North Carolina. I mean, we, you and I sat around yesterday and did a little bit of math, and
we did math.
I
like math.
What did I say yesterday? It was like 37,000 jobs lost per coronavirus death in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Per every one.
Yeah. You know what's really sad is seeing that list of the businesses that aren't going to be able to reopen.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
that's
horrible.
What's really sad, because then it really is a viral kind of a situation with how bad it's gotten.
No, I agree.
I'm a little more prepared. We got a couple people watching, and today I'm a little more prepared. I've got the laptop over here, so I'll actually be able to see your questions. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Well, you know what? Before we jump into questions, should we talk about what we're drinking?
Ultra on draft, because we now have a kegerator. So,
yep. Well, and you already killed the last the Ultra and the Stella.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, and so with Bud Light now, I made it myself a chelada today. Just now, this is actually the first one. I don't know, you guys, I'm really not a big drinker, but it is what it is. So he said I had to have a beverage.
Well, I mean, that's how this whole shit started. I mean,
It did. It did.
Like I said,
agree.
You were kind of in a stupor one day. I was kind of in a stupor. We're like, hey, let's go live, and here we go.
No, so. I am just adorable. I'm not in a stupor. That's what we're going with, right?
I hear you. Oh, and by the way, I want to shout out to Doug Broderick for the shirt he sent me.
Junkyard Dog hardtop.
Yep.
Yeah.
My buddies there keeping me clothed since I don't go clothes shopping ever.
Well, and now you can't. It's not essential.
Well, it's not essential, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even go buy a pair of pants.
You can't have any pants.
No.
All right. Okay, look at this. I've got, all right, so Josh Christopher says hello. Hey, Josh and Ellen and Mark. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. And I thought about taking my hair down and, like being video ready. The truth is, how do I normally wear my hair?
You do have kind of the bun thing going on.
I always have the bun thing going on.
And why is that? Probably because, you can't go to your salon.
Well, we could say that, but nah. It's just because it's such a lazy way to do my hair. There we go. I have hair now. There we go. Okay.
Now you have hair, yeah.
I have hair. I just tie it up on a knot on the top of my head.
Growing into freaking dreadlocks, though.
It was, because I hadn't brushed it, and then it was all dreadlocky yesterday, and then you helped with that for sure. So, yeah, and I did go to the grocery store today.
Shit.
And I had my hair down, and then I didn't have a mask or gloves.
No way.
I did not.
You went to the grocery store without a mask or gloves?
I did. I was prepared. I had a mask. I even have a new one that I could wear. It's actually not a new one in the sense I've actually had this for a while, but you actually liked my new potential mask, right?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't do shit to protect you, so I guess all you're doing is protecting other people.
Did I tell you where I got this at?
No.
I got this at the NHRA.
There you go. See? Cool.
So that's what it's for.
They were thinking ahead of times.
Or they didn't even know it. They didn't even know that it would be that. So apparently that's my mask of the week if I have to wear a mask.
There you go.
But I don't know. It's nobody's breathing it in at the grocery store. There's no evidence of that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So
right.
I mean, it is what it is. See what happens. Yeah, I think that's been our week.
So what's new in the world of crate racing? Anything?
Well, I don't know necessarily in crate racing. I'm gonna have a couple new products this week, though.
I mean, other than nobody can race. I mean, that's kind of the shit part. But
well, it is. But you know, we're shut down here. Well, we are, but we're not. I mean, I still answer the phone. You know, there's just not as many people calling.
Everybody's still doing business.
And so, trying to get some new products in, and also along with trying to get some freaking lids in.
Yeah, you've been.
I've been really working hard at trying to get bases and lids in. Really hard.
Been blowing
but there's actually another shipment going out on Monday, and I'm going to have another pile of them.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
So that's part's going to be good. But you know, I have kept busy during this time with some new projects.
Such
as one of them, well, a project that is a long time project, but I'm just not very good at it, is my podcast. For the Racing Insiders podcast, I'll drop a link in, but I talked to Don Blackshear back in like January, and I just hadn't gotten around to editing it, and it's not the most perfectly captured audio, but the conversation with Don just went up today on Racing
You mean
Insiders.
the Don?
The Don.
The Don. This is what we call Don Blackshear, is the Don.
Because we love him. He's amazing.
Exactly.
I love Don. He is fantastic. But I will drop that in to the comments. But there's also a whole nother new project that is all about you.
Well,
really.
it's not really all about me, because it does kind of. I mean, some of the stuff you posted already is like pretty shitty as far as like being about me.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what happened was this is back in like August or September
of last year.
Steve shows up to my house and he's got a VCR and a shoebox full of videotapes. And he wants me to show me some of his old races. So we start going through those, and then we decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and digitize those. So I bought this hardware software deal, and I'm going to tell you, that is not the smoothest process. In fact, there's a video on my personal YouTube channel, on my Kate Dillon YouTube channel.
Yep.
I mean, I was digitizing these back in September, but never got around to just doing anything with them. So since we had a little extra time, they're already digitized.
Yep.
My 2 shoe boxes full of videotapes, VCR
Which
tapes.
is like a quarter of what I actually own. So.
Well, and I just learned that. So 2 shoe boxes was like, holy hell. So I started a new YouTube channel. We started a new YouTube channel. You provided the videotapes.
The content,
and I did all the work. That's pretty much,
well,
is that kind of how this works?
That's how Crate Insider works. I just pretty much say, hey, I got an idea, and you run with it. So.
I just do the thing. They do all the things.
All the things.
Exactly. So I'm going to drop a link into that. The channel is called Racing Rewind. Did you know that I actually created the logo?
On YouTube.
On YouTube,
On
yes.
YouTube, Racing Rewind.
Yes, Racing Rewind is not going to have all the channels. It's not going to have a Facebook page and an Instagram account. No. It is just a YouTube channel.
No, and it's not going to be modern dirt late model racing. We're talking stuff back from... God, I think you've got tapes from maybe back in 1986, 87.
Oh, I haven't posted any of those yet. I know.
No, you haven't posted any yet.
Well, I didn't even know.
But there's stuff back in the like 87, 88, 89, like at Merced Speedway out in California, and a bunch of stuff. And
well, and
so it'll be pretty interesting.
Well, to tell everybody, how is it that even back in the 80s and early 90s, how is it that you have videotapes of your races? Because they actually come from a couple different sources.
Yeah, I always had really good friends who would videotape from the grandstands normally. And my one good friend, he passed away several years ago now, but he'd actually come into the pits, and he had an in-car camera, before the days of the GoPro.
Before GoPros, yeah.
And had like an in-car camera set up in my car, and my friend Fred Forsland, and it was... it's kind of pretty cool shit. I mean, the in-car video is horrible, but at the time we're like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So we got like 3 videos up there right now, and we'll be posting Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Yep.
I've already got it scheduled for Monday.
Yep.
I don't have Wednesday or Fridays yet.
And I already announced on like my, in one of the groups I'm in from days of old California racing kind of thing, that if guys have tapes now, I'm talking tapes, that they want to send out here, just get a hold of me. I put all the details in the post I made, and we'd be happy to digitize the stuff. But it's not going to be anything. This is an ongoing project, so it's not going to be like you send the tape to me. The tape's up the next day. This is going to be like
God, no.
Maybe a year from now or something. But you'll be in the queue.
Well, it is surprising. What people probably don't know is how much some of this stuff we do like literally on the fly. We really do, but.
Right.
There's so much of our content that we can shoot it today and it's not really going to come out for 6 months.
No, correct.
Later on. I mean, I was digitizing these tapes back in September, and then we got busy doing other stuff.
Exactly.
And that's the way it goes. But now that the channel's live, or even better than if you have videotapes, if you have old races that are even already digital, and you would like to see them show up on this channel, because
Contact Kate.
Just contact me and we'll figure out, whether you want to put them into Dropbox or something. And one thing I'm putting on the description of all these is I'm saying, okay, this is from the collection of Steve Hendren. So that way you could be credited with, this is from your collection, whoever you are. So
Exactly.
I'm happy to do that.
But people
it's a lot
get
of fun.
We started this because people dig watching old stuff.
Well,
back.
And it's also, these VCRs only last for so long, and all of a sudden, it's interesting. So you and I have been through all of the different all of the different mediums. So when you and I were growing up, we had 8-tracks.
Right.
8-tracks were the shit.
Oh yeah.
Then it was cassettes. Then we moved on to CDs.
Yep.
You still had cassettes, and there was, there's nothing more special than a mixtape.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Right. I made one or two of those. I got to admit.
You've never made me a mixtape.
I probably never freaking will, but
Damn you. Well, I don't know. Maybe can you make me like a YouTube playlist?
It's way too much work.
I know. Well, besides, everything, we are surrounded by technology. So.
Yeah. There's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I won't go into that.
To fucking,
I was gonna say there's 1 or 2 chicks in California probably have a mixtape or 2.
Do I even look jelly over here?
No. It was like years ago.
No, and you wouldn't even have to make me a playlist. You just go ahead and start up the YouTube music.
Right.
Actually, it's usually this phone that we.
Probably so.
Yeah, with the speaker.
So, anyways, what's the whole question thing?
Okay, yeah. So, guys, drop in your questions. Any kind of tech questions that you might have for Steve, drop them in here. Or if you've got any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
She can actually answer questions. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, let's see. So, I do have a question. I prepared with a question.
Prepared with a question from what?
Top 5 Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep. So, Michael asks Kate. What? I'm only this far into my drink. What the hell? Okay. The question is, how much horsepower does the Renegade Crate Elite, Ratman 108 produce? And is it safe for the 602?
It's plenty safe for the 602. As far as like how much power it produces, as compared to what is the question. Let's say as compared to pump gas, you're going to see like a significant increase in low end torque and top end horsepower. You're going to see probably, on a 602 versus pump gas, you're going to see 20 foot-pounds down around 2,500 to 4,500 RPM, and you're going to see probably close to 10 horsepower, maybe top end. That being said, the Renegade stuff I've found to be extremely inconsistent. You'd be better off, in my opinion, running something like the Klotz CR601, right?
Yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm. CR601, 604, or VP product. The Renegade stuff, it seems to me at the beginning of the season, it makes the same power as VP, but at the end of the season, it falls off probably by 10 horsepower, like on a 604, for instance. We've seen that time and time again. Pretty much every year, I've got customers that are close to me who are on the Renegade deal, so they get, buy one, get one kind of thing. And they're, I'm getting fresh free fuel, and it's not up to par with what the VP product is.
Interesting.
No, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I'm not going to lie to everybody and say, oh, it's great.
No.
I used to push Renegade back in the day, And then when they fell off on power and I brought it up, and then I did like, a bunch of testing for them and all this other shit, and they wanted me to falsify some information, or not necessarily them.
Ooh.
I'll just say a dealer.
That's no bueno. Mm-mm. No, that's a bad deal.
So,
all right.
Homie, don't play that.
No, you do not. I got a question.
What's your question?
Question was, what am I drinking? This is a chelada.
I thought you said that already.
Well, I know, but I didn't tell anybody what's in it.
Oh, yeah, tell them what's in it.
So, what's in my chelada today is I started off with some Valentino hot sauce. It has a half of a lime that's squeezed into it, and that's mixed together along with some clamato juice, some chili lime seasoning, and topped off with Bud Light and a couple of ice cubes.
I see Cody Haskin on there.
See, I don't usually call people out.
Yeah,
though.
well, I have to, because, Cody's my man.
Cody's awesome, yes.
Yeah, Mr. KRC. And they got some of the best product on the market, so please support them. They're back at work. I talked to Cody this last week.
Oh, nice.
And he's kind of on the same page as I am, and to hell with it, we're going to work. So
I like it.
make sure you buy KRC.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I mean, of course, I love working with Cody, for sure.
For sure.
Oh, so I had a post this week because there was just, I don't know. I got this, so what happened was, I got an alert from my phone, and which just ends up sending me down a rabbit hole.
Right.
But the alert on my phone was from my Face app, and the Face app was like saying some new filter or something like that. So I open it up. Next thing you know, I'm dinking around with this stupid thing, and then it shows this picture of me with like my hair blonde. And it was like, take a picture, and then I did that.
Oh, I saw that last night.
And then I was like, should I go blonde? I mean, this was just like, I was not like looking for, I was not looking for a new hairstyle, nothing. I was just put that out there, and man, the audience is split 50-50
I'd have done you. Just saying.
Also looked like there was like a whole nother layer of makeup. I mean, I wear a good amount of makeup. There's no doubt.
There's the whole blonde fetish thing going on. So.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought, whoa,
just fucking do it.
That'll be interesting. Wow, I wonder if I could have blonde dreadlocks now.
You probably could with that friggin' rat nest of a hair mess you got going on right now.
I do. I know.
I have to buy you a Floby.
I am so not going to do the Floby. That's next level right there. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Ooh, Randy asked, do you still have your pet skunk?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Actually, you said with an S, but
yeah.
There are two of them. But
well, yeah, I mean, my brother's got one, and I have one. But yeah, I actually went to my mom's yesterday and did my little beer with chickens deal. Beer with chickens and ducks. So I had the skunk out there with the chickens and the ducks, and she was jamming around the yard and digging holes and eating shit. So, or not shit, but she was eating worms and whatever the hell she could find. So.
Well, Andy Garris made a comment here.
Yeah.
Because, you were talking about not being able to go clothes shopping for some pants.
Right.
Andy's comment was, pretty sure no one sells plaid shorts anyways. That's why I was laughing over here. Or trying to keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Brandon's here. AJ's here from Ontario, Canada. And John and Brandon. Brandon says hi.
Fucking Andy.
Okay, we got another. All right, we got another question for you. A legit question.
All
right. What fuel regulator do y'all recommend for E85? And do y'all have any air filters yet? We have air filters. If you mean bases or lids, bases I have. I got more coming, and lids I have coming.
Regulators, anything that works, and preferably a bypass regulator. You need to. I recommend bypass regulator no matter what kind of fuel you're running. So one of the ones we most commonly use is going to be a quick fuel billet bypass regulator. Willy's makes an awesome one. There's plenty of other companies out there that make great bypass regulators. So, and by bypass regulator, I mean we're taking excess fuel and bypassing it back to the fuel tank. So definitely want a bypass regulator. Pretty much any of them work. Pick your poison, whichever one you feel comfortable using, and you're good to go.
And at Crate Insider here, we're going to have some KSE ones here pretty soon.
Yeah. I know you're working with KSE a little bit.
Yeah, I am, and
I have not used one of theirs yet. I'm sure it's going to work like everybody else's. Mm-hmm. So
yep.
It's kind of a price point deal, I think. So it depends on what you want to spend on a bypass regulator. But good ones, usually you're going to be spend what, Kate? Like,
what are they, about $100? But we do a whole bypass regulator fuel line kit.
Yeah, we do a whole kit. You do a whole kit and all that stuff, and I do too on the engines I produce. And I think like our whole bypass regulator fuel log setup's like $200 and something bucks.
Yeah, so. I think you're right. Yeah, it is, because it's amazing to me how many like little fittings and things go with that whole deal. So
well, the fittings are what actually cost the most, but
they are. I mean,
but at any rate,
this little fitting one's like $8, and the other one's like $15, and
yeah, definitely run a bypass regulator on E85, ethanol, methanol, race gas, freaking pump gas. I recommend it on everything.
Oh, Brian Schwartz says VHSC. LOL. Yes, the VHSCs. I think that's the little small ones. I had to get, so back to Racing Rewind and videotapes here. Yeah, I had to get one of those adapters. I haven't broken that out because you haven't brought over the little ones yet.
Well, wasn't it like Super 8? Isn't that what those little ones are?
No, they're VHSCs. They look like Super 8s.
Well, I called them Super 8 the other day, so I mean.
Well, but Super 8s is a whole different deal. But
I gotcha.
Because that was the thing. I mean, back in the day, nobody could actually land on
because they got a box
media.
like that big full of those.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep you in videotapes for years.
Well, that's lovely. That is something that we could sit right here on the patio, which we're sitting in the patio. Oh, should we show them? I got my lights up.
Well, I'm gonna go get another beer.
Okay,
another draft beer.
I'm gonna give you a tour.
Kegerator.
Yes, from the Kegerator.
So.
Yeah, and we're all wired up.
And then you can check out the back of the shirt too.
Oh, there we go. All right. There's the back of the shirt. Junkyard Dog.
Thanks again, Doug Broderick.
So, Doug, I mean, go ahead and drop in a link if somebody can pick up one of your shirts or, to get in contact with you. But I just want to show you guys where we're at here. So we're in the patio. There's the roof right there of my little gazebo deal. Sorry, I didn't mean to make anybody go get sick or anything, like from being upside down, but I'm there. And then the Kegerator is just right inside the door here to make it easy. Because right. Steve was, ever since we had the quarantine, Steve's been showing up, drinking beer, and
which normally, I mean, we only hang out, what, 1 or 2 nights a week?
Yeah, honestly? Usually Tuesday nights and Saturday afternoons, and then you come here Sunday for barbecuing. But,
yeah, because, I mean, we kind of do our own thing, so.
Yeah, which totally works for us. But I'm not used to him showing up every day and then bringing like a 12-pack and then having all of those beer cans. So I
that and you're bitching about doing the dishes all the time.
I just started bitching about that. I just bitched about that today. But I am not going to buy paper plates. Right. I'm not going to do it.
No.
So that's just the way that goes.
It's kind of medieval.
Yeah, it is. Ooh, Tim Sims is here.
Hey, Tim
Sims.
From
rainy Alabama. It's not rainy today. It was like spitting at us a little bit earlier, but not raining now.
No, it's actually nicer today than it was yesterday, and it's supposed to be like 50-something degrees today, and it's probably about 70-something right now.
It was 60 in my car when I was on my way back from the grocery store. Ooh, since I did go to the grocery store, should we share with them what we're having for dinner today?
No, that's completely lame.
Come on. Okay, come on.
If you're sharing what you're having for dinner, you're running out of shit to talk about.
Yeah. So Josh asked, I probably am not going to, I don't know, I don't think I'll go all the way blonde. I'll probably do some streaks. I mean, when I get to go to the hairdresser again, I mean, I'm going to own that shit and make it. But then again, I don't want everything to like not match whatever all the pictures and stuff I have out there.
Right.
It's it's already bad enough. You can look at a video, Crate Insider videos, and you can tell when it was based on how long my hair was.
Yeah, that's
It was long, and then I cut it all off, and then it just gradually got long. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's not happening is I'm not cutting it short. That part's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
You did that 1 year for PRI.
I did. Well, for 1 year for PRI, it was terrible. It was like in growing out stage, and I had a choice: either keep it short or like let it grow out and look terrible.
So let's actually talk about PRI. Do you think PRI is going to happen?
Oh yeah. I don't have a doubt.
I mean, yeah.
Here's my thoughts on this. All right, so my very first thought when COVID went down, or coronavirus, or Wuhan flu, or whatever name you want to call it, my very first thought was, okay,
Chinese attack on America?
Exactly, Chinese bioweapon. Yeah. So my very first thought was, hey, this is, we're gonna like hit the pause button, and we are gonna get gut punched, and then the moment that things open up, it's going to be pent up demand, and it's going to like everything's going to explode.
Right.
That was my initial thought. Then my second thought was as these stay-at-home orders got either more serious or got extended, then it really started instilling this fear. And I found that I was starting to get where I was afraid, and I don't really like being like that. I really don't. But now I have kind of a different perspective.
Well, go back.
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
So then my third perspective is that
Don't interrupt her.
None of this is as bad as what we thought it was. I mean, it's really, none of it is as bad. I am unlikely. My big question has always been, can I go to the grocery store and pick it up off of a box of macaroni and cheese? That hasn't happened. I think I got frustrated with the lack of transparency in our community, where we've got a cult here that is really the source of the hot spot. Not a
Oh, talk about that.
We live in Rutherford.
Yeah, we're in Rutherford, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch something about a cult,
Yeah.
like a legit cult,
Yeah.
who owns this, they pretty much own our county. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Word of Faith Fellowship.
Well, it's Word of Faith Fellowship.
Inside Edition.
Inside Edition, and then there's another documentary that's really good.
Yeah, People
Yep.
did a documentary
Yep.
back in the 90s. And then there's a book that came out in December
Correct.
called Broken Faith.
Yep.
So this isn't just me saying, and I'm certainly, I respect anyone's, whatever religion they want to be. If that's who they are, I have great respect for that. I do not have great respect for cults, though.
No, this is a cult.
And the outbreak here in our community that's where it came from, although the officials would never tell us that. We just had to know because we know people, and and it's all over Facebook. So
and you know that the 3 people who died here are Word of Faith. So
well, and they're also the kind that they think they're going to scream the demon out of you. So the only way they're going to take you to the hospital is if you got to be on your last leg. You're probably already dead before you're probably DOA. So yeah, it's a pretty shitty deal, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And so now I'm just kind of being a little bit defiant because that's kind of who I am and that's how I roll.
Yeah.
So I'm not a member of the cult. Yeah.
I hope not.
I gave that up for
It'd
Lent.
be pretty fucking weird if you were.
Nah, yeah, it would be a little bit weird. Well, I wouldn't be, this is the proof right here, because you can't drink alcohol if you're part of that.
Yeah, if you're Word of Faith, you can't drink alcohol. So can't drink alcohol, can't have fun.
You can't eat in any restaurant that serves alcohol.
Pretty much got to buy all your shit off QVC.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, that's a very frustrating situation. So, my third deal is I think that, I think anybody who's compromised, anybody who really needs to make sure they're not exposed, definitely stay home. I have great respect for that as well. But I think when it comes to racing, I don't think this is going to change us forever. I don't think none of this is as bad as what we thought.
Yeah, I don't. This whole thing's. What have I told you since day one?
Well,
I came over here.
I know
a month ago, minus 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. On the first day of you can't go anywhere or do anything, and what did I say?
This is a bunch of bullshit.
This is a bunch of bullshit. And what'd you say?
Hey, the smart thing to do, we don't know how bad it is. The thing is, I want to make sure that I protect anybody else. I have only had contact with 3 other people.
And whose mind did I change?
No, I changed my own mind. Oh, you are the god of changing my mind. No, it's because I've been involved in all of these and getting all the updates and hey, you know what? I've been down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, so
yeah, that's true.
And I've come back on the other side. No, I've been very frustrated with our community, and I'm a big supporter of our community. Well, in our state,
we got a dipshit governor who is basically like a wet dish rag, and he's gonna.
A Pelosi puppet.
Yeah, he's a Pelosi puppet, basically.
That's all he is. So he's. I don't know that he could decide his way out of a paper bag.
No, the dude can't make a decision to save his
but
life.
I really like the campaign strategy of the lieutenant governor who's running for governor of North Carolina. His name is Dan Forrest, and his tagline is, for a hashtag is "Run Forrest Run." So it's that's so good. Takes us back to.
No, I'm voting for him.
Yeah, me too.
Asshole we got in office right now, he's fucked. So.
Alrighty, so we got more questions, legit questions,
All right, good.
rather than me, political BS here.
Yeah.
So, Do you recommend E85 or gas? And how about Willy's Super Bowls?
Okay,
So that's from Chris.
Willy Super Bowls, always I recommend. I mean, if you've got a steering wheel, you need the Super Bowls if you can afford to do that. That being said, it's not 100% necessary, but if you can afford to do it, I definitely recommend them. As far as E85 or gas, it depends on what your rules are. There's a lot of rules around the country that I've seen, for crate engines where, or maybe not even crate engines, but just whatever, where they're like, oh, you can run, 93 pump gas or, 110 or E85. Well, it's a no-brainer at that point. Run the E85. E85 is like far superior to either one of those two options when it comes to a low compression crate engine or low compression spec engine of some sort. So definitely run the E85 in that scenario. If you've got an option between, say CHP or E85, CHP meaning crate horsepower that VP makes, or the CR601, 604 or whatever, it's kind of a toss-up. I'd say if you race in a hotter climate, the E85 would probably be your better option because it does have a little bit of the cooling effect like methanol would have to the engine. I mean, if you're racing up north Minnesota, something like that, probably race gas might be your better option, or oxygenated race gas.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Great. Cool deal. I got another question for you.
Okay.
From John. What is the gain going from 4-inch air filter to 5-inch or even 6-inch?
There is none. If we're talking crate engine stuff, and if we go with like her flat air or flat base, and we go from 3 to, let's say, 6-inch or 7-inch, which we've tested all that stuff, there's no gain. Now, maybe if you're running a 100-lap race in a really dusty environment, the bigger the filter or the taller the filter, the more filtering capacity you have, that may be an advantage on lap 95. But as far as weekly racing goes, on my own kid's car, we got a 3-inch filter.
Yeah, we've kind of gone to the trend of going shorter.
Well, I mean, yeah,
bit.
shorter doesn't hurt, and it certainly doesn't. It's no benefit over, like I said, you can take a 3, 4, 5, 6-inch filter. They all do the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. But like I said, 100-lap race, lap 95, yeah, maybe if you got a 6-inch filter and you can't see over the hood, but you're running second, you might win because you've got 2 more horsepower than the next guy at the, coming off turn 4 at the finish line.
Could be inches.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's basically how it is, so.
Okay.
Not a big deal.
Got another question for you.
Yep.
Dwayne asks, is there a certain air cleaner you recommend for 604 crates?
I have gone to the Walker stuff, primarily because it's an oiled filter, and I was never a fan of oiled filters until I got connected with Walker. Their oiled filter basically runs about like a dry filter does. I mean, the amount of oil needed on that filter is virtually nothing. It's not like a K&N where you have to saturate the damn piece of shit and, it still sucks shit through and ruins your engine.
I wish you would tell us how you really feel.
No, that's how I really feel. K&N filters keep engine builders in business. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, the Walker is pretty much the best thing I've found. We used to push R2C really, really hard, and I was a big fan of R2C stuff, and I don't know what the hell happened to them, but when they went in the shitter, we were done with them, and we had to go to a different source, and Walker to me has been the best thing I've found.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, well, I disagree because that's what I sell. So.
Well, no, you sell it because I told you that's what to sell.
But
yes. I mean, but it's a great product. I mean, there's no.
Well, and it really is a key though. Is you want to make sure you do not over oil the filter. That's a really important.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, that's problem with K&Ns. I mean, K&Ns, you have to over oil them in order to make them actually do what they're supposed to do.
To filter.
Where the Walker, you don't have to. So there's very little, one little 16-ounce bottle of Walker air filter oil will last you pretty much, 30 races.
Wow.
So, not
That's
a big deal.
Yeah, we've done a video. I did a video with Leo from Walker showing how to do that.
Exactly.
All right, another question. Any advantage of the crate fuels over E85? So do you want to talk about your hierarchy of fuels and what you would...
Well, no. I mean, so crate fuels over E85?
Mm-hmm. That's just how it's written from Matt.
The only advantage I can see is in a really cold climate. So if you're racing like early fall, late fall, early spring, I can tell you for a fact that usually the race gas takes off better. So starts, restarts, stuff like that. As far as jamming around full throttle, there's really virtually no difference between the really good, highly oxygenated race gases like, I keep bringing up CHP, but I mean, it's probably
Well, there's only so many race fuels out there.
It's the best thing out there. And that and the clods. But between those, yeah, you're going to take off a little bit better just because you're not going to be, freezing up the butterflies, freezing up that idle transition slot, all that stuff. So,
your friend Doug is here. He says, "Hey, nice shirt."
Oh,
Doug Broderick.
Yep,
so,
see?
Yep.
Check out earlier, dude. I showed the back and everything.
Yeah, and we even made sure that the camera is showing so you can actually read it, which is good. So Doug, if you've got a link to drop in, feel free to do that. And Josh asked us where we live in North Carolina, and we are in Rutherfordton. So
Rutherfordton. Western North Carolina.
Yeah, but he probably wants to know so he can look up the documentary on the cult.
Oh, well, yeah, do that.
So Rutherfordton, North Carolina. All right, we've got lots of people here. That's all the questions we have. You guys keep on dropping in those questions. I finally got caught up on the list here, so we're good to go. Yeah,
I've got a question.
You do? I have an answer.
What are you doing with your Winning Sports marketing this week? How's that going?
Good. What we've been doing for any of the members in the program, they're all part of a 30-day Facebook challenge. So there's 30 captions for the whole month of April, and anybody can still join.
So what does that do for racers?
Well, the number one thing you can do for marketing...
No. Let me interrupt you. Are you training people how to get sponsors, or are you advising them, or, how's this whole deal work?
Well, a lot of it is marketing, because you need the marketing in order to either to get a sponsor or to support a sponsor.
Right.
And either way, if you don't know how to market, it's one thing to go in and ask for some money or product or whatever, but then what? Then what are you going to do with that? How are you going to support them if you don't know how to market? And it's really interesting in this land, in this age of COVID right now, or coronavirus, whatever. Mm-hmm. In this age, it's really kind of sad to me how many companies I'm seeing. This will relate. I'll bring it back around. But all of a sudden, people that were face-to-face or, word of mouth are all of a sudden like, hey, wow, I need to do the social media thing because I need to, hey, wow, I either, a musician that we really like, he's not out playing gigs, so how is he going to still support himself? Well, and he's decided to have gigs on Facebook. Well, had he spent the time to actually have a Facebook page instead of a personal profile, he could have a much larger audience by now, and it would have helped him a lot. Even my brother's a good example. My brother's got this new shirt coming out.
Which this will be highlighted hopefully very soon on this little show thing we got going on here.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm just going to show a picture, because I'll just
drop the link in.
Oh, I can totally do that.
Yeah, just do that.
I'm going to drop the link into that. Like, forget.
Yeah, I'm like 100% behind this t-shirt.
Yeah. Yes. It's F China, because I'm not going to swear on this show right here, but...
You're not?
Well, only sort of.
Okay.
I try to do the kinder, gentler ones. The kinder, gentler swear words. Try to not say the F word on here or the GD word or any of that. So okay, I'm just going to drop this link in, and this is going to show the picture of the and actually I'm going to do something new with this show too. is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm going to do is, so of course we do this live on Facebook, but then download it and put it up on YouTube so anybody can catch it later.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, I'll bet some other people are like me and like to have this in audio. Well, and we're normally not showing things on this show.
Right.
We normally just talk. So why not make this into a podcast? So I'm just going to start posting these Unsealed episodes over on the Racing Insiders podcast. I'm not starting a separate podcast, and I will still interview some other people, but that will keep that one. Might as well just kind of do that.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I'm responding to a text message here.
Doesn't surprise me. It happens all the time.
My kid's showing me food from my favorite Mexican restaurant. But
oh. Why doesn't he just, is he trying to just twist
he's
the
being
knife?
a dick.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
that's Alex.
It's Alex Hendren.
Okay. All right, let me see here. We got, back to Winning Motorsports Marketing. Yeah. I'm always happy to answer any questions. In fact, one of the folks that's watching today is Matt Shipley. He's been with me since day one. He was actually my very first person that signed up for my Winning Motorsports Marketing program, and I've interviewed him. He's had some wonderful success, he and his son, and a lot of this just goes with marketing. So yeah, I do help. I don't do it for anybody. I just teach you how to do it and just kind of take you down the steps of how I've built up a business that does, kind of a lot of sales, when we're racing.
Yeah.
So built it from a whole lot of nothing to being a pretty good.
A little bit of $1 million-ish.
Yeah, I've got a few $1 million worth of race car parts. So yeah, it's not my first day. Yeah, I don't do that a month or anything. We're still a really small company, but yeah.
But if anybody wants to buy us, we're open to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could really teach you how to do this. And,
right, exactly.
So we'll do that. Okay, let's see. We got some more questions here.
Sweet.
Is there a big horsepower or torque difference between your mufflers and the Beyea mufflers?
All right. So when my dad was alive, my dad actually gave Joe Beyea the idea for the anti-reversion muffler. And Joe made that, and it works perfectly fine. There's no problem with it. It works great. But the actual premise of it was missed a little bit somewhere in the conversation. And if you buy either the Profab version of our deal, the anti-reversion muffler, or the Dynatech version, it actually does work better than what Joe's stuff does. Now, I love Joe Beyea to death. Scott, all them guys up there, they make a great product. But like I said, somewhere in my dad and Joe talking, a little bit of the premise was missed and how it was actually supposed to be. So do they work? Yes. Do they work as good as our stuff? No.
Well, and you've also done some more tweaks to it. But I think something important, too, is that they're not really interchangeable either, because most of Beyea's headers end in a 2 3/4 inch collector.
Correct.
And everything that you've done is for either a 3 inch or a 3.5 inch collector.
Correct. Yes.
So
yeah, we used to produce ourselves from 3 inch to 3.5 inch stuff. Dynatech still does that. Profab, they produce our 3 inch to 3.5 inch outlet.
Well, and I think another important thing to
in stainless.
Well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if you're going to go with Beyea throughout the system.
No, absolutely. Yeah. There's no problem with their stuff. Their stuff looks great.
But you wouldn't want to put your 3 inch mufflers onto a Beyea header going from a 2 3/4 inch up to a 3 inch, and that I'd
still do that.
Okay. Do you have data on that? I don't.
Yeah,
have
I do.
Data. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I'd still do that.
Gotcha. Good to know.
But again, if you're going to buy their whole system, buy their whole system, and there's nothing wrong with it. Is it the difference between winning and losing a race? Probably not, honestly.
Good deal. Good to know. All right, got the next question queued up here. Timing pump gas versus 110 on either 602 or 604.
Usually,
well, first let me stop you. How should I really ask that question? Timing settings or
ignition timing? I assume
ignition timing. Okay.
I assume that's what they're asking.
Okay.
Ignition timing normally on either a 602 or a 604. 34 degrees is always safe. You can run either one at 34 degrees, and you're, like I said, 100% safe. No matter what fuel you're running, whether it's 93 pump gas or whether it's 110 or E85 or methanol or whatever. If you have the opportunity to get on a dyno engine, either an engine dyno or a chassis dyno, I would definitely play with timing because there are some gains that can be made. For instance, I did an engine for Bloomquist 2 years ago, and we dynoed literally on Thanksgiving Day. And
I was so pissed.
right?
I was so pissed. My turkey got ruined.
So we literally dynoed on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, the weather was perfect, so it was like, I don't even remember. I mean, it was like great. It was like probably 55 degrees out. We should be making great power in the dyno room on our chassis dyno. And we started off at 34 degrees. We bumped it to 36 and we lost. So as soon as you see a loss, go back to what you know. So we ended up back at 34 degrees. Now, the next week, we dynoed another guy, and we ended up at 38 degrees on his. So I don't know why. I can't explain it, because, I mean, technically the combustion chamber is the same, compression ratio is the same, but one guy's engine liked 36, the other guy's liked, or Bloomquist liked 34. So I can't tell you why. I mean, it's like a big mystery to me still to this day. My own kid on the E85 we've got him on, which is XE85 VP, he's running like 38.
So basically,
where his peak power is at.
Basically, engines are like women.
But
they're finicky, and you can't figure them out.
Well, exactly. 100% like women. I might as well call it a freaking woman. Because, yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get until, you actually test it out. So, I mean, God. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, but always 34 is safe. So if you don't have access to that, or you can't afford to go to a dyno or a chassis dyno or an engine dyno, then 34 is always safe. And when I'm talking peak power, I'm not talking, 20 horsepower or foot-pounds of torque difference. I'm talking, 5 or 7 or something like that. I'm talking like it's very little. I mean, if you're looking for the peak of what you can possibly get, then that's when you need to start playing. But 34 is always safe. And in my experience, in the past, it's always produced usually the peak power.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is that, okay, if you're going to start messing with timing on a chassis dyno, should you already have everything dialed in, is like, get it to like what you think is the absolute best with your, with all of your other settings and stuff, and then you start dinking with that last?
Well,
or do you start with that?
No, I mean, ignition timing has a lot to do with what your air-fuel ratio is as well. So usually, I mean, generally, rule of thumb is the richer the engine is, the more timing it likes. Because it's got to burn that fuel.
Okay.
So you dump more fuel, you got to have more timing to burn that fuel to make power. So it's kind of a process when you're kind of like jumping back and forth.
Okay.
As you're actually trying to make these increases and make these gains. So it's kind of a deal.
I actually didn't know the answer to that.
It's not like everybody run 37 degrees. No, don't run 37 degrees.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck you got for a carburetor?
What are you running for fuel? What kind of air filter base do you have
right,
on
exactly.
it?
I mean, yeah, it's all about, air fuel ratio versus ignition timing and everything else.
Well, and how much is affected? Would you ever change your timing based on weather? And I ask that because I know that what you actually dyno changes based on how much humidity is in the air and the temperature and all of that. Could timing be one of those things that you use as a tuning tool?
If you were an F1 team,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're Joe Blow, crate racer or whatever, no.
Okay.
Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Because unless you know what every part of that scenario is, or unless you have like some kind of on the car shit that will tell you what your air fuel ratio is versus what ignition timing and all that stuff, no, don't mess with it.
Well, yeah, and none of us are like the F1 teams where, I mean, watching that Formula One Drive to Survive.
Yeah, that's a great series.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that's insane. They've got a whole, like, all of their diagnostics, and that there's a guy that's sitting in the truck and can see what the air pressure is in the tires. And
well, I mean, they can change the car from
it is
pit box.
freaking unbelievable. It is just freaking crazy. All right. Oh, thoughts on how often to change springs? We change them one time a season and run an average of 25 nights, but also do 5 to 7 50-lappers a season. And also ran one of our engines a whole season without changing them. Driver feel and lap times do not fall off at all. Do you believe the guy saying change them every few nights is overkill? Okay, I think we gotta. We don't know if this is 602 or 604.
Yeah, are we talking 604 or 602?
I don't.
And I'll give you. I can give you my opinion on both.
Well, why don't you just go ahead and run with both? Because I think this is a question that a lot of people have.
My opinion on like 604 springs, which is the exact same spring that's on a CT 525. I've got customers who randomly change those springs out every 10 races. Usually, like, I suggest running leak down on your engine every 10 races. So that's normally when they'll change their springs, because leak it down and change springs makes sense. I've got guys that go 15 races. I've got guys that go 30 races. What I do suggest is checking them after every race, because I have seen the occasional broken 604 spring. So definitely check them after every race. 602s, we're back with the 602 spring. We're back in the kind of, in my opinion, in the same scenario we were with before the Beehive spring came out with the 604s. It's a shit spring. I mean, I ain't throwing off of Mexico, but it's made in Mexico and it's a shit spring. They vary quite a bit. What I suggest on my 602 stuff is minimum every 4 races change your springs.
And would you recommend going with matched?
I would recommend going with matched if it's a legitimate match set.
Like ours.
Like what, yeah, well, I mean, what you sell.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got like...
Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't even asking that.
Yeah, no, you got...
max versus out of
you got a
box.
couple asshole companies out there saying 84-pound fucking springs, you know, it'll win you a race. Bullshit.
Well, I already did a debunking video with Don Blackshear.
Well, I did a whole debunking shit on my Facebook page too. So
yeah, now's your chance. Well, you haven't had a video debunking.
No, I know. It was just a post that I made. It was like in my notes. If you go to Hendren Racing Engines on Facebook, you'll see my debunking thing on there. 84-pound spring bullshit.
Yeah, wow. But it's so frustrating because we don't ever like to see racers being taken advantage of.
Well, I mean, that's the main thing. I'm a racer. I've been a racer all my life. I hate seeing people spend money on stupid shit that they don't fucking need. And you got asshole companies out there selling people stupid shit that they don't fucking need. So. Well,
and I agree. At the same time, that we can see quite a bit of you use the words like the springs are junk, but I'm going to use the words that we see quite a bit of variation from one spring to the next in a box of springs. So when you do have them matched, that they at least we get rid of the junk springs and you know what you're you know what you're dealing with. Right. I mean they are what they are. We didn't improve them at all, but at least they're going to be more consistent.
I agree.
So there's that. Cool. Jeff also asks, "Hey Kate, can you help me market Hendren Racing Engines to sponsor an engine?"
Oh, hey, I'd sponsor Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a cool dude.
He's Jeff's a cool guy.
Yeah,
we know.
He lays some mad brick.
For anybody who doesn't know, he is a bricklayer. He's a mason. So. Okay. Brian says, "Thank you. Yes, they've used an engine dyno, but used pump gas, not race gas. And they do use the Willy's stuff." All right. So
Willy's is badass anyway. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. If you deal... Here's my personal opinion. If you deal with Willy, if you deal with David Smith, or if you deal with Tony at Stealth, I don't even know his last name. I just know him as Tony at Stealth. But
I should know.
If you deal with any of the three of those dudes, you're good. That being said, my brother also builds our carburetors, and we've got a lot of that running around. So talk to my brother too, and you're good there.
All right, so I'm going to take a beer break for a moment because you need another beer, and it's time for me to have another drink. And so I'm going to get you a beer first, then make my drink. But because I'm all nice like that. And then I'm going to get you going on the next question though.
All right.
So then I think we'll be able to talk. So Doug asks, best spark plugs.
Ooh, spark plugs.
I know you like talking about spark plugs.
So spark plugs is kind of to me, like an easy one.
Are you drinking Bud Light or Ultra?
Ultra.
Okay.
Spark plugs are like kind of an easy one to me. One that works. One that fires. We've done a lot of spark plug testing over the years, and what we've found is if you're in the correct heat range for the fuel you're running, the ignition timing you're running, blah, 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 et cetera, you're from one to the next, there's a you can't even read the difference between how these things work. I mean the power difference. So anything within it's kind of hard to explain, but when I've tested plugs for manufacturers that are like, hey, we got the best plug on the market. I'll mention, there's one that is like an E3. And they claim all these power gains and stuff like that. It's complete and total bullshit. I have not seen that. No, maybe in some scenario at somewhere, somebody's going to like notice a difference and, gain 1 horsepower. But so long as it's in the exact, or it's in the right heat range, you're not going to see, a difference between any of the plugs. We have been playing this last week. We actually played around with some different spark plug heat ranges on E85 on my son's car. Because the fucking coronavirus shit's out here, so we got nothing better to do than fuck around and play with shit. And what we found is we went from a AR-94 to a 93 to a 92. And which obviously we're going down in range because years and years and years ago, like with methanol, we ran like the coldest plug possible because it made the most power, blah, 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 blah. But we actually saw no difference between a 94 and a 92. We played with timing, we played with air fuel, we played with all this stuff, just trying to make as much as we could possibly make between a 94 and a 92 plug. And we didn't see any difference. So that tells me that either this 94 range, which would be a equivalent in an NGK is the
R5724-8.
R5724-8. You're pretty much good no matter what fuel you're running.
Yeah, well, and that's what we like is that we want to give you the universal answer, but there's but we found that it doesn't really matter with either one of those plugs that we sell, the Autolites or the NGK.
No,
they work well.
I personally prefer the Autolite just because I like the cutback electrode. And all these things are supposed to be pre-gapped, so I would definitely recommend checking the gap on these things because we had a couple of Autolites the other day when we were doing all this testing that were quite a bit closer gap than what we would normally run.
No, but the NGKs don't come pre-gapped though, correct?
They're supposedly pre-gapped, but they're...
Always tell people what they need to gap their spark plugs at.
I would go with 40.
Well, that's 40 with a billet distributor. Otherwise, you're going something different on HEI, right?
Yeah, HEI would be around 30. If you're having to run an actual HEI, it'd be around 35.
Perfect. A lot more people saying hi.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, how long can you run the Pack 1210X springs?
We're
not gonna even answer that one.
No, I don't even know, honestly, because everything that we do. Now, I have no control over what customers do after they get their engine. So, I ship a guy a legal engine, and he puts different springs on it. That's on him. Has nothing to do with underneath the seal bolts, so whatever he wants to do there is fine. But I don't know. I assume that any aftermarket spring on a crate engine is definitely going to last probably 10 times longer than what the actual crate engine spring is going to last. That's just based on experience with different springs over the years and how that shit works.
Well, I mean, 10 times more on the 602 springs. Maybe not so much with the beehives. But you're also going to pay for those as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it's also normally on that stuff, if you're in the tech shed, that's usually pretty easy to catch. So, it just depends on what asphalt scenario where pretty much everybody's freaking cheating. Yeah, I mean, run what you brung kind of deal. Then, get the best shit you can get.
Oh, Brian says he's had good luck with the brisk plugs.
Yeah.
We didn't.
I tested brisk, and it didn't work out like what they said it would.
No, didn't.
I'll just say that.
All right, Justin asks, KRC or Jones pulley system?
Either one. I use both, probably 50%, like 50% Jones, 50% KRC. Both are awesome systems, especially when you get to their, if you're just going like cranked water pump, either system is badass.
Yeah.
If you're adding a bunch of shit to it, alternator, power steering pump, stuff like that off the front, still, either one's badass. So.
Well, I end up with having to do some V-belt stuff, so I usually go Jones on the V-belt stuff.
Yeah.
There. And then also the front and back. I mean, if you're going to run power steering on the back, again, either way.
Well, I mean, KRC came out with their new tandem power steering fuel pump combination, and I love it. I mean, that's what's on my son's car.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
it's a beautiful piece
it's
of
a very
equipment.
very good piece.
Yes,
so.
I would agree.
Now Jones also makes a very very good piece as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and hey, and Bill has asked me for a scratch and dent 604 ever since I've come out with scratch and dent stuff.
For what? Oh, scratching at 604 like an engine?
Yeah. He says, but now he says, hey, maybe Steve could help with the scratch and dent 604. This is a running joke that Bill and I have had on Top 5 Tuesday for probably at least a year. So, welcome, Bill.
If I ship you one on New Holland, odds are when it gets to you, it'll be a scratch and dent fucking 604. Trust me, them bastards destroy the shit out of stuff when you ship.
Oh my god. FedEx broke a pit bike for me this week.
I know.
It made me sad.
It sucks.
Golly. This AJ, he says it is illegal for us to run them. Probably talking about those pack springs.
Okay,
so
yeah. Well,
legal,
then I would definitely run the pack spring. If it's legal, run it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to last, like I said, probably 10 times longer than what
and be a lot more consistent.
Well, yeah, 100% more consistent.
Because that's what they're made for.
Yeah, definitely run it.
Oh, Bill says, wow, ouch. Probably talking about New Holland.
It's true.
Although we are grateful for all of our delivery people right now, when we're all not able to even...
Yeah,
I don't know. We should cheers, though.
Yep.
Cheers to Sunday here. All right, I'm going to see if there's any more questions.
All right.
I don't see any more questions. I do not. We've been on for about an hour.
Have we?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you believe it? We should probably get our, before it gets too dark. I don't know. What time does it get dark these days?
It's like 8 o'clock now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad because it's only 5:30 here right now.
Yeah, we're good. We actually started early.
And I had snacks earlier so that I wouldn't be starving to death during our show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad if I'm starving to death. That's never fun for anybody, including you. If I'm hangry.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Nobody
it's
wants that.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it is. So I got us some burgers.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're going to have some burgers, and you're going to grill them.
All right.
You're the grill master.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can do it.
You're the grill master. Ooh, okay, there are more questions. Glenn says, what y'all drinking for beer?
That is Ultra on Draft from our kegerator.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm drinking a chelada that I made with with Bud Light from that, and with the Clamato juice. And what's your favorite beer? Oh, would you like to talk about your favorite beer?
My favorite beer is Stella Artois.
Oh, can I go get the new accessories?
You can, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, my favorite beer in the world is Stella. Always has been, always will be. Next to that, back when I used to live in Australia, my second favorite beer is solidly Victorian Bitter, which would be called VB.
VB.
So, yeah.
Well, and then you had in the kegerator, you had Stella, but you ran through it. So,
Correct.
So now when we...
I can't get VB in the United States, which sucks. Anybody on here who's watching who's from Australia, if you send me a care pack of like a carton of VB, like you're getting a free, I don't know, I'll give you $500 off a friggin' 604.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow. That's a deal right there.
Well, it'll cost them about that much to ship it to me, so. But, yeah, no, really. I mean, if you got a carton of VB, like a whole carton, and you ship it to me, $500 off a 604. Guarantee it.
There you go.
Yep.
I think that's a good deal. So when one of these beers runs out, because you got 2 different beers, are you going to get another keg with Stella?
I probably
you can
will.
use your...
Well, now I can, because I got the glass.
Yeah, because it's just not the same out of just a regular glass.
No, it could. Well, that's an interesting thing about Stella is it completely changes the taste when you use their glass versus, a pint glass.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, actually, there's a couple more questions here. So Dave asks, is MCT still building tanks? Is Mike still building tanks?
No, my brother, he actually stopped building tanks. Reason being, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So we build crate engines, and the crate engine market essentially killed his, oil tank building business. He may do like a one-off deal for people every now and again, but for the most part, no, it's shut down. He's the MCT thing now. Mike's Custom Tanks. He's pretty much building tire rotisseries for prepping tires and building needling machines, and that's pretty much the remnants of that company.
Yep. All right. Bobby asked, does Steve have shirts and hats for sale? You don't have hats, but you do have shirts. I have shirts. Crate Insider has.
Well, Crate,
has
Go to Crate Insider.
I'm gonna go find a link right here.
And then you can also go to Alex's website, and he's got his racing T-shirts on there as well.
Yeah, so we've got that. And then there's another question here too. Best timing for 602 is what Larry asks. So,
34 degrees is going to be safe all the time, and more than likely, probably 95% of the time, produce peak power. So 34 degrees. But make sure, if you got a bone stock 602, make sure that you've 100% calculated where top dead center is. I mean, you have to do that. Because if I tell you 34 and your timing pointer's off by 2 degrees, you're at 36 or whatever, then you can potentially screw yourself. So definitely do a check as far as what your top dead center is.
And how can you do a check to find out what your top dead center is?
You got a video on it.
I do, don't I?
Yep.
Okay.
So maybe post that.
Yeah, I'd have to find it. We've got between 300 and 400 videos on YouTube now for Crate Insider.
It's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. It's pretty wild. Oh, Glenn says the gold makes the difference on your glass.
Oh, it totally does. Trust me.
Yeah, it makes you.
No, honestly, it's the shape of the glass. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, they've even got where the head has to be, right there.
Yeah.
From there up's head,
That is never going to get old.
I said head.
You said head. This is never going to get old. All right, I dropped a link in for the Hendren Racing Engines t-shirts. I didn't get a chance to drop one in for Alex's stuff. This is good. This is a new question that I haven't seen before.
Okay, good.
What is your recommendation for oil viscosity and filter?
Viscosity-wise, usually what we found, we always come back to 1030. So if we're talking a 602 or a 604, we always come back to 1030. The only exception to that is going to be the Klotz 1040. And what we found with the Klotz 1040, and I wouldn't be, I mean, like any 1040 from any oil manufacturer is probably going to be just as good. I mean, not just as good as the Klotz. Klotz is the best shit we've ever tested. Mm-hmm. But it's going to do the same thing, which is carry out that horsepower as the oil temperature increases, you know, over the duration of a race, for instance. So, but essentially, everything we recommend is going to be a 1030 or that 1040 Klotz.
Well, should we talk a moment, because I've talked to Buck about this before, and I know you have as well,
Mm-hmm.
is that what's fascinating, a lot of times when we try to look at scientific things, we think that we are comparing apples and apples.
And we're not.
But the truth is we're not. And that, let's say an oil would be technically 8 and a 26, it would still be a 1030.
Right.
Whereas it could also be a 1238, and it would maybe be a 1030 still. I mean, or maybe it'd be 36 or something. But there's a range in there that
when you get an oil viscosity, it's like more confusing than the entire Democratic Party.
It really is, because the thing is that that's what it measures at particular temperatures. And here's the thing, is that are we ever running our engines at 10 degrees or at 100 degrees? It's like 0 degrees and 100 degrees. That's the viscosities that's how those are measured. But the truth is, I mean,
it's
these
like 300,
engines,
300, I think.
No, they're not. I mean, how they measure oil? No, it's done at like 0 degrees and like 100 degrees, something like that. I don't know. We'd have to ask Buck again.
Yeah.
But what it's not, none of these oils are measured for viscosity at the actual temperatures that our engines are running in.
No.
That's the biggest difference. So is our oil going to break down when we have these higher temperatures in our engines? Or is the oil going to break down? Or is it going to continue to lubricate? That's the big question and that's why we go with the racing oils that have the extra additives in them and things like that, because we're pushing these oils a hell of a lot harder than what you'd have with a regular passenger car.
We have oil recommendations because I've seen the engines apart after they've run for a whole season, and that's why I recommend not only for power, peak power, but for, protection.
Yeah.
That being said, any name brand top quality oil, you're gonna have that protection. You might not have the power. So you can run, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw out like Valvoline. You can run Valvoline 1030. Yeah, you might be down 5 horsepower over, Schaefer's 1030, or you might be down 8 horsepower over Klotz 1040. But the engine's going to be protected. So. Yeah. A lot of this depends on your budget too. What you're willing to spend to make the maximum.
Absolutely. Yeah. What kind of competition you're up against.
Right.
If you're in the,
I'm just happy to have customers who change their oil. So that's a thing. That is a total thing. I've had people who bring an engine back like 20 races later, and it's like, oh yeah, I got some blow by, and it's like the same oil it went out the door with.
And the same spark plugs.
So don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I got a 602 R-Run cam tow gas with coal plugs. Is that right route? And run cam tow. I don't know what any of those. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Let me read it.
We are still here, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just like... It's probably somebody typing from their phone and their big thumbs are getting in the way.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
I'm not sure either. So if you could try to do that. Randy asked, isn't oil as thin as water at operating temperature? Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, it's when it's heated up. You just want to make sure that the components aren't going to break down. I actually do have another question for you that isn't on this list, but I saw it in Well, and I sort of answered it in another place, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out here anyway. Okay. What do you recommend for a gear oil for a 9-inch Ford rear end, and how much gear oil would you put in a 9-inch Ford rear end?
I mean, based off our chassis dyno stuff, as little as possible is like how much you put in there. I would recommend Bucks would be like Daytona 1 3060.
Mm-hmm. That's what I answered to.
Yeah.
I was 100%. I'm in a Facebook group called Street Stock Help Source, and that was a question somebody had, and so I went with the 3060.
Or I mean, Klotz makes great gear oil too. I don't remember what their.
Theirs is a 3060 as well.
It's a 3060 as well. Yeah, I mean they make a great gear oil. But I know for a fact the Daytona 1 stuff is in the highest echelon of racing known to man, just under a different brand name, and so I would definitely recommend that first.
Now, do you see many 9-inch Ford rear ends on the dyno?
Yeah, in our street stock stuff we do.
Yeah. Now, with that, when you say to use as little as possible, are we saying 1 quart or are we saying 1 gallon? What are we saying? When we say as little as possible, what are we going there?
I'd probably go with about like 1.5 quarts.
Okay.
Maybe.
Gotcha. Good to know. I mean,
we run the littlest amount we have to in our quick changes as well. So.
But in the quick change, don't we normally run a gallon?
No.
Oh, what do we usually run in?
No, I think we got like 2 quarts in Alex's.
Oh, okay.
But it's also the 8-inch ring gear, so.
So, which is different than the 10-inch ring gear. If you're going to go that route, would you use? I mean, because we sell it in gallons and we sell it in quarts, so.
Yeah. So.
Any recommendations there?
For what?
If you're going to go with like a 10-inch quick change, are you going to should be using more than 2 quarts, right?
No, it's about 2 quarts.
About 2 quarts? Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Yeah, 0 degrees and 212 degrees. That was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what oil is tested at.
Yeah.
I knew that we were there. Okay. That's some funny shit. So change the oil once every rebuild is what Cameron says.
Yeah. Right. Trust me, I've had people do that.
Brian asked, where's Stella?
She is at home, probably hunkered down in her little clamshell skunk nest that she has.
Yeah, I tell you what, that skunk is spoiled. Spoiled. I went to the grocery store today.
You bought her food today, yeah?
I know. So I'm sitting here making the list, because I want to be as efficient as possible, but also just not forget anything going to the store. And all I'm trying to do is just go to the store and get a couple things for around the house and get stuff for dinner. And I say, to Steve, I was like, well, is there anything else you would like me to add to the list? He's like, yeah, pick me up a rotisserie chicken, for Stella. I was like, oh, okay. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, and get her favorite popcorn and get her some cheese. And she likes these particular, I was like, holy hell.
Peas and
then
corn.
Peas and corn. He's like, well, it's only a few items. I'm like, it's 5 items on my little list here.
I gave you $30.
Yeah, you did. I don't know. I think we looped it all together. I didn't, because you get in and out of the grocery store these days. All right, I got another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you change oil? Stock block Ironhead 7400 RPM 10-1. I don't think which might be a little bit different than a crate engine, but probably not really.
Well, I mean,
how often do you change oil is really the question.
What's the contamination in the oil?
Such a good question.
Are you running methanol? If you're running methanol, change it every race. Because methanol contamination in oil is an engine killer. So if you're running E85, I'd probably be changing every three shows. I mean, we're talking like, average 25 lap features and qualifying and all that crap. But methanol every race.
And this is actually from Doug from the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah,
so maybe he's got a different kind of thing going on.
Well, he's out in Cali, so if he's running methanol, every race.
High maintenance.
No, I mean, methanol is high maintenance. But it's also, max power, so.
It is, but then, so tell me what is really the difference? You've got E85, which is basically alcohol made out of corn.
It's one molecule away from being methanol. Yeah.
But, you don't say, like, change your oil after every race after E85.
No, because,
What's the difference between the two then?
Well, what happens is, like, with methanol versus gas, for instance, if you go from gas to methanol, you're using 2.2 times the volume of liquid, more methanol than you are gas. Mm-hmm. So 2.2 times more. That being said, when you do that, it contaminates the oil that much more.
Oh, because you're using it twice as much.
Because I mean, you can have fuel going by into the crankcase.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't care how sealed up your engine is. I mean, you're gonna have shit going down in the crankcase. And when you're using, if you go from gas to ethanol or E85, for instance, you'd be 33% more is what you're using, but it's not 2.2 times more.
Oh, that's good to know.
So
great. Okay, favorite dirt track?
My favorite dirt track?
Yep. Glenn's is Lakeview, South Carolina. South Carolina, go South Carolina for opening up all your retail stores and your beaches. Good for you.
My favorite dirt track in the entire world is, and I hate to say it because...
Are you going to be cliche?
No, because he's... I don't want to say anything bad about him. But my favorite dirt track in the entire world is going to be a really close tie. I mean, number one is going to be 311 Speedway in Madison, North Carolina.
Okay.
Number two, like a really close second, is going to be Withfield Speedway in Withfield, Virginia. Or With Raceway.
I mean, and those are your favorite of all time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, now have you ever raced at Eldora?
I never have, no.
Okay. I mean,
I mean, maybe if I raced there, it would be my favorite. But I mean, for me, the places I've raced in my life, which goes from East Coast to West Coast to Australia and everywhere else, those are my two favorite.
Good to know.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a favorite. I haven't really been to that many since I started selling race car parts. I just go to the ones here in the Carolinas, and I do like the dirt track at Charlotte. I like that facility.
I hate that hellhole.
I know you do. But I think I like it now because I get to ride my Bromax pit bike around.
That place owes me two. That place owes me 2 race cars.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Doug says they won't let him run Alki, so he doesn't have to change his oil every time.
Yeah. I mean, so every three. I mean, depending on what you're running, every 3 or 4 races, roughly.
Oh,
I mean, full synthetic lasts a little bit longer, obviously, than dyno oil, or a blend.
And this is just another question here, but we're not a technical question, but whatever happened to Thunder Valley Speedway in Lawndale? How could we know?
Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I think the owner was obviously a dipshit, but yeah, I mean, that was a great place to race, and fortunate enough to win a lot of races there and some track championships and all that stuff. But that place, yeah, I hate it went out. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything in probably 5 years about that place, which is sad.
It is sad. John says he raced there from Canada back in 1999.
Where?
I guess Lawndale, because he's the one asking the question.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we could. There are a lot of people that are here that weren't here at the very beginning of our show, and so if you want to see some old races, check out our new YouTube channel, Racing Rewind.
Right.
And there's a link. So.
It's like 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get one going up on there from '89. I think this week. I can't remember what.
It'll be Merced probably.
Yeah, there's a Merced. There's a Merced in there. Mostly it's Merced, Watsonville, and Antioch.
Yeah. Are
most of the tracks that are.
But I have yet to bring down the whole second round of boxes of videos. So.
Now that you're here,
so there could be some Santa Maria shit in there and some San Jose and.
You know what? Places. I will welcome you to the pain of that. I can't get you to watch The Princess Bride because
God no. Fuck.
It's such a good show. It is so classic.
Oh.
I mean, it is so classic. But then you would actually know instead of fighting to the death that you fight to the pain, and it will tell you that it's painful to transcribe video or digitize from analog to digital. It is painful. But I mean, I'm going to make it happen. We're going to make it work.
All right.
All right. Oh, Cameron asks, so what is the octane level on Kate's drink? It's only, I know.
It's like full lightweight.
I'm such a lightweight, you guys, because I don't really drink that much. So it's half Clamato juice and half Bud Light. So while we've been sitting here, I have drank, once I finish this, the equivalent of one beer. Now, vodka, I could do a lot more vodka. I don't know why I'm drinking, but I like enchiladas.
That's what's so funny. I mean, I have literally watched her. Let me tell this story.
Oh, God. As long as there's no moonshine involved. I don't even know which...
there
not
is.
That story.
There is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, back, what was it, about 6 years ago?
Yeah, it'd have been 2013.
About 6 years ago, we...
Which, by the way, I moved to North Carolina from Idaho, so had never really been around moonshine. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, so we go... we go out one night. And, have a few drinks, eat dinner, do that shit. And then we come back to my place. And I've got like a whole fifth of vodka. Good stuff.
No, vodka was gone.
No.
Oh.
You drank...
I drank it all?
You drank she drank like half a fifth. And then, she's still fine. And then she's like in there in my refrigerator. She's like, what's this over here in this jar? Well, it came from some buddies of mine in Tennessee, so it was like the good shit. And she's like, can I have some of this? I'm like, yeah, that's moonshine. You might want to be careful with it. I'm like, okay. So she comes out with a red Solo cup, slam full of probably half that jar of moonshine.
And ice.
And with ice. And she kills it. Like, I'm telling you, we're like watching TV. It's like 10 minutes later, she's like, can I have some more? I'm like, yeah.
We also happened to watch the Hatfields and McCoys whole documentary.
Well, that's what we were watching. That's right.
Too.
That's what we were watching.
Yeah.
And
I didn't understand how the moonshine guy went crazy. Yeah.
So she's like, can I have some more? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. So she goes in there and basically kills the rest
Half
of my...
of it, and then I was like, well, you...
Well, I was getting to that. So she goes in there and fills the red Solo cup up again. And comes back and sits down on the couch there. I'm sitting in my chair. And she goes, gets about halfway through it. She's like, you want the rest of this? I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll drink it. So I drink the rest of it, and I look over there, and she's passed out on the couch. 3 days. It took her 3 days to get off my couch.
Yeah, it was
3
ugly.
days.
It was ugly.
It was the worst experience of my life.
Oh, come on. It cannot possibly... You have 2 ex-wives. It can't possibly be the worst.
It was the third worst experience of my life. Because 3 days later...
I finally left.
She finally left my damn house. And she couldn't leave the fucking couch. Other than
go to the bathroom.
Go pee.
and then throw up.
And throw up.
It was terrible. And then I understood why the guy went crazy in the Hatfield McCoys, the moonshine guy.
Guess what she hasn't drank since?
I only have sips of moonshine now. Sips. Just the tip. Just a taste.
Yeah, just a tip. Just see how it feels. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yep, that's good. All right.
Feels too good. I'm done.
Yeah. No, but I did buy the moonshine cherries.
Well, yeah. Well, that was at the...
Yeah, well, yeah, because I do love... I mean, I'm not a moonshine person. I'm really not.
I'm getting another beer and taking a piss, so...
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You can carry on.
I can... I will do what I do. Yeah. So... Yeah, so I do like, I'm not really a whiskey drinker either, but I do like the Old Smoky Moonshine. I like their salted caramel whiskey is really good. And we had the chance to go up to Gatlinburg and go to the Southeastern Promoters Workshop, which, by the way, I recorded the whole thing, and it's up on my Winning Motorsports Marketing channel, or my website, Winning Motorsports Marketing. It's all up there for free. But we went up there to this Old Smoky place there and came back with some things, and I thought the moonshine cherries were going to be a whole lot better, but they're terrible because it's just straight up moonshine, and I was expecting the cherries to be sweet, but the cherries are not sweet, even though they're pretty. So maybe when he comes back he can bring the jar, but yeah, so I don't really drink moonshine anymore. That's kind of a bad deal. All right, let's see. Oh, and Joey said he saw the same thing with some friends from the moonshine. And Rhonda says, thank you for the laughs. All right, well, John's taking off here. Oh, Doug says real moonshine equals a liquid LSD. And I'd start the conversation, and here we are. And I love this. Glenn says, y'all need to do this around a campfire. This pretty much is a campfire. Facebook Live these days, especially since we're all separated. I think what spurred us on to start this Sunday show is we do get together every Sunday. And, the fact that we're also isolated from one another and there's not any racing, this seemed like a perfect thing to do and just kind of bring everybody into our world and just kind of be relaxed and answer some questions and have a good time. But someone had suggested, like, hey, we should do this around a campfire. But I was like, this pretty much is our campfire. It's our online campfire.
Yeah, normally on, Sundays we, hang out anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll be having a campfire in a few minutes because you're going to be lighting up that grill.
Oh, I'm lighting up the grill. Matter of fact, we need to, probably log off this shit.
Yeah, we probably will.
Eat.
Yeah, but it's been really great hanging out with you guys tonight. And thank you so much for being here. We'll be here next week. We don't really have a particular time that we've picked in because it's just kind of a time that we want to hang
random.
out. Yeah, but feel free to continue to drop questions in and whatever we don't pick up, that we missed from the show.
My mom's watching.
I see that.
Oh my God.
Wow. See,
check that out.
I let people lurk.
I know.
Well, she might say hi, so maybe let's see if there's some new ones here. Let's see.
Mom did cut my hair though.
Yeah.
Look, see.
I know that's your quarantine cut.
Well, it looks kind of horrible under the hat because of I didn't wash the shit this morning, but.
Dirty boy.
Huh?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, you got a mommy to cut your hair.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this, and we'll be reposting this on YouTube and on our new. We'll start doing it as the podcast as well. So Thanks for being here for the Unsealed Life Beyond the Bolts.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys next week. Talk to you later.
Later.
Oh, wrong thing.